Ready? Okay, it's 1 o'clock. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Ethics Commission of the town of Chesapeake Beach. We have a full quorum, and so we are ready to proceed, and the session is now in, the meeting is now in session. We have the normal custom that we'll open with the Pledge of Allegiance. For which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Let me start with a couple of housekeeping items, if I may. I don't see our legal counsel here, as I believe you know, Lee Rutland resigned from not just from his position with us, but he retired from the practice altogether for medical reasons. I expected our old friend Frank Sussman to be here. He was, after he was recalled from his position for our commission, he was then and continued to act as counsel for the appeals board, and suggesting to the mayor that get him back. I don't know where that stands. It seems there was some controversy, possibly having to do with his bills, but I have no detailed or formal information. And when we are done today, I will get in touch with the mayor and find out, where that stands, or what alternative arrangements the town wants to make. Traditionally, this commission, and as far as I know, the other boards and commissions, council, were not consulted with respect to the selection of council. Apparently, that has been the practice from way back. But so I cannot tell you where the matters stand, but I'll find out and send out a bulletin of some kind to let you know what I'm told. Also, I gave you a piece of paper which relates to one of our topics today. That is the proposed revision of the ordinance, and this document is a correspondence between myself and the town administrator, and it should have been sent to you long before this meeting, but I discovered that I had not done that, and I have a major problem with my computer. I lost a whole lot of data, including this correspondence, so I couldn't retrieve it and email it to you, and so I use the old-fashioned way, ink on paper. I think that was all I wanted to say by way of introduction. Let's move to the approval of the agenda. It's very short. Additions or comments on the agenda for today? Okay, agenda is approved unanimously, and I would like to change the sequence of our substantive items. That's the proposed revisions of the ethnic ordinance and review of the public disclosure statements. And I think the a discussion of the revised ordinance is a subject that will cause more time for us, I suspect. So I suppose I propose that we, or if you want, we can take it first, but I think it would be more efficient if we deal with the disclosure statements first, and then get back to the revision. I gave you here a minute and a half time to read it. The interesting part is the response I got to my letter from the town administrator, and frankly, I'm somewhat perplexed, although with half of my mind not at all surprised what she is telling us. Now, so if we can jump to the disclosure statements, I believe that all of the statements that were delivered to our clerk, that there are none that are still outstanding, that we're still waiting for. And I'm somewhat at fault here. I did not have the statements of the people that are headline staff. I saw the email from Sharon come in. I knew I received it, but then it fell out of my laptop together with a whole lot of other stuff. And so I will have to do my review some later date. Strictly as a formal matter, if both of my colleagues have gone through that list, then we can make a decision about that without myself, because we only need two for a quorum and two to make a decision. I have again. I didn't have the technical ability to put what I'm going to say now in writing, which would have been more efficient. But what I have concluded is, and I'm going by the lists that were sent to us by Sharon, the first elected officials, we received all statements from the council members, and I find them all acceptable, except I did not see the statement from Mr. Green. And I suppose they were not in my package, or they were victim to my disaster of my memory.
Actually, is Mr. Green one of the missing ones
Yes.
Yes,
in your records too?
It is, but can we go back to approving the minutes? We skipped
Okay,
that.
I'm correct. Green is still missing.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that-
We also received it from both the former mayor and the present mayor, from the appointed officials. We did. I didn't see the appointed staff, which would be the administrator, our friend Sharon, town attorney, administrator, town engineer, code enforcement official, public works administrator, and the treatment plant superintendent. I didn't see those.
Could I suggest that we make our comments, if Greg,
Yeah.
package by package, as either in the order of
order
Sharon
we
sent
received.
or in any order,
Right.
so that in each package we say what did we see missing.
Right.
Not individuals who are missing. You have the information about which disclosures were not filed, but the ones that were filed, if we
When-
saw any issues.
Gotcha. I agree.
That may be efficient
More
way
efficient,
to
yes.
just go through it and see if we kind of did the same observations or not.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Makes sense? I actually listed my comments based on the order that Sharon
Sent them to us.
emailed.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
You
Yeah.
did the same thing. Okay.
Okay, I have my list here of the appointed boards and commissions. And first is the Board of Appeals. We received it from all members. My notes here say okay, except with respect to Mr. Birch. And there was one question in Schedule A that relates to real property owned. There was one question that, according to my notes, he didn't answer. It's the price for the purchase of his property. I didn't see a dollar amount there.
I'm sorry, which package was that?
Would be for the Board of Appeals, and the whole package was appointed boards and commissions. And the first one is the Board of Appeals. Boonstar, Doherty, Birch, Stephen Sharp, and Amy Everett.
Didn't catch that, but let me just. So you're saying,
It's question number 11 of the Schedule A.
Rick, did you pick that up?
I didn't get that one either, no.
You did not, okay, let's just, again, not questioning you, let's just make sure that we're all on the same page. I have the.
If we can't establish by 2 votes that it was seen and approved, then we have to go back to him and say, "Here, answer that particular question." It's no problem. In fact, last year, there were many more, if memory serves, many more unanswered detailed questions than we saw this year.
Birch, Schedule A, right?
Schedule
Schedule A question.
This is Schedule A.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's question number 11.
Yes, so he put in NA.
Okay. Everybody else is okay. Next, planning and zoning. There are Cynthia Greengold, Larry Brown, Greisman, and Jan Rutke. They are all okay. What I have not seen are Smith, Horn, Weaver. Yeah, that's, I did not see those.
Do those correspond to
Chris?
the ones that you have seen, or you're missing?
He's right
That
there.
checks.
That checks, yes.
Okay. Great, okay.
So they must still be, so we have to go after and catch those. The next I have here is the Board of Elections, 3 members, Getman, Dominique Soroka, and Victor Guido. My notes say they're all okay. And finally, the Board of the Ethics Commission, 3 members, and we're all okay.
Well, I don't know if it was I think the purchase price, Greg, that you mentioned for your residence was missing it in a 0 or maybe 2 zeros. I don't know how much you paid for it, but it was listed as essentially 130,00.
Just missing the rest of it.
Yeah. So yeah, just it's a minor thing to just correct that. Okay.
Get that, Sharon?
Was that clear, Sharon? Yeah.
We've seen from the old town council, people who were not re-elected or chose not to stand for re-election. I have 3 names here. Jaworski is okay. Mr. Fink, okay. And Mrs. Bodine, all okay.
The one that I found in the old council, Todd Pons, he did not include a Schedule H in terms of the compensations from various.
Yes, I got that too, yes.
Which one is that?
Todd Pounds. I think he's the council.
I hadn't come to him yet. Pounds, the previous town council, he has no Schedule G and and in Schedule H. The question number 4, that's the consideration received, is left blank. And that is the infamous that Schedules G, which deals with earned income, and H, which relates to relationship, financial or contractual relationship with other municipalities. Actually, with municipalities, which technically includes this town. And we don't have those from Mr. Pounds. I am not optimistic that we will get this, but we'll have to follow up and then decide whether we want to press the matter or let it slide.
On the old council, I also noticed that Margaret Hartman, her filing was missing also Schedule G and H.
Right, exactly.
From the
Hartman.
I did see Mahoney, seemed okay.
Yeah.
And previous legal counsel, Lee Rutland, he attached no schedules, that no schedule applies. That cannot be entirely correct. certainly he was an active member of his law firm. No income sources. I have in this connection, I have a question for my colleagues here. Yeah, if there are several statements that don't identify earned income, and that's okay as far as it goes. But in some situations, the question inevitably pops to mind is, well, if you didn't have earned income, how did you make a living? Most people, at least in the age group where we find people on town councils and other gremiums. So it is, of course, possible that somebody lives on a pension or on investment savings or is supported by somebody else, a spouse, for example. And the question that I want to put is, if we see something like that, something that looks worthy of explanation, should we follow up, or should we simply take the view, technically, what we see from as a declaration under oath, and we are entitled to take that at face value? That's one position to take. Another position, tentatively, I would say equally legitimate, would be to say that, yes, we are entitled to explore this particular answer. And but my question to you is, which way should we go? Now, we are not conducting a forensic inquiry here, where the uniformed official on that side of the table says, you said you had no earned income. Well, how did you make a living? These are questions which would be asked and expected to be answered. But I'm not certain, and I don't want to make a decision whether that applies to these disclosure statements.
So my position is that if there are cases that clearly there should have been, or seems like there would have been income from some source, like in the case of Councilman Hartman, that they did get compensated and it was just not declared, oversight or what have you. In that case, we can bring it to their attention that it seems inconsistent.
Consistent, yeah.
But other than that, do you have an example that, I mean, people could have earned income from many sources that are not reflected in this?
I myself am one of those persons. This past year, I didn't have earned income. The previous year, I did still have the remnants of my old law practice, collected fees, and that's earned income. But this year, I had none.
But I didn't declare my earned income, and nobody has declared their earned income because the statement, the disclosure statement, doesn't require it. This is my understanding that it should reflect earned income from sources from the town.
Right.
If there are sources from the town, they need to be reflected. Otherwise, the other income, we are not capturing that in any of these disclosures. right?
The question is,
Yeah.
is the question is even required? I mean,
No, I don't think it's required unless it is from the town. If they did a consulting
for
job for the town
exactly, because that's,
and they
yes,
got compensated, yes,
I
they
agree.
should. If they have a business,
that does business with the town.
exactly, right, right. But if they have a business in town that doesn't do business with the town, then it's,
No, we
they
don't even know
shouldn't.
that.
It's, the question is sources of earned income, Schedule G. It is not specific that you have earned income from the town. That would actually, that would really be a superfluous question because the town already knows who received, income from the town. But
Well,
and we have a lengthy definition of what is meant by earned income. I will find presently.
well, now that I read that, I think you're right. We may need to reword that.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's wide, it's a wide net
Yeah, right there. Right.
that we are casting there, that basically now you have to disclose all the income, from everywhere. Especially for elected official, appointment need to provide only the entities located in town.
Right.
So we are making a differentiation between elected officials and candidates that we are saying from all sources
Yeah.
versus appointed officials that are only from the thing. It just seems to me that really it should be the same for both.
I agree.
Otherwise, it's, mayor has other income from other sources, savings or pension or what have you. That is not relevant for us to view, but if they receive funds from town, I realize that the town has the record of it, but this is supposed to be disclosing that to everybody, that yes, I did get money from the town.
We have to change our questions.
Yes.
for
Yes.
this.
At G, I think we need to update that.
Okay.
So otherwise, we are good with the old council, with the exceptions that we noted. Hartman
Council.
and
Old council, Jaworski, Fink, Budin, we got. From the former mayor, we got. We also received a statement from Lee Rutland, but no schedules attached.
that's a message. So three
And-
items.
And question is, the man is out terminal medical leave. Do we really want to press this? He's no longer here. Wasn't with the town. There was no transaction or situation, which he was really engaged as counsel for this commission. So I would be willing to simply
that was
waive
us,
that
yeah.
requirement.
Same applies to Councilman Hartman. She has moved away from town now. And we already know
Who
that
was that?
Margaret Hartman.
Oh,
And she didn't include Schedule G or H.
Right.
But what we know, what the compensation was for all the council members,
okay.
and she's no longer
Do we
resides.
chase her down? Or-
I think it falls the same category as.
I don't think it's necessary, not necessary.
Okay, we'll just waive it.
Wait.
And Mr. Pounds, no schedule G.
Mr. Pounds, no Schedule G, and on Schedule H, the compensations from various entities are not
Not
listed.
listed.
So two problems with.
What's our consensus?
He's still with the town, right? He's still working with town? Oh, he's left already? A legal counsel, right? He was? Yeah, Pounds. So he was a counselor, right? He was lawyer. We are setting a precedent, of course.
Yeah, yeah. But that has not always been fruitful in the past. I mean, it's been a lot of work for somebody to just get people to respond,
Yes.
period, so.
Yes.
But you're right, it does set a precedent. If we let these folks go, what happens in the future? So,
And old council members, they're no longer involved.
yeah, you
so-
could.
We are still chasing two people from, we're not.
Keith Pardick.
From 2023? Oh, for the current. I don't know, I paused a little bit about Mr. Pounds.
Especially the position he was in. I mean, that's.
It's a pretty key position too, there being the legal counsel for the council.
He knows he should
Well,
respond. He knows that.
in one sense, the easiest solution is to say, we are just boneheaded about it, and we chase everybody. And if somebody doesn't respond to our reminders, we send another one. And if still nothing happens, then
Find them.
we can find him. Yeah. Well, that reminds me of something that is in the revised ordinance. There's old language there. One of the things that this commission has to do is, make it difficult to act, and so on and so forth, and to see to it that violations will be discovered and punished. That's an old language that has been there for a long time. And my own markup after your work was something like, if appropriate or if necessary or something, because the word has to be punished. It sticks in my craw. I mean, this is an obligation we impose on people who are serving as volunteers, on their own time.
Well,
And,
they're volunteers, but
I simply hate the idea of, putting on my law enforcement hat and say, now we'll punish you.
Yeah.
And
We become the
yeah,
ethics police at that point, you know?
the possibility of punishment exists. It's part of the state's mandate, but I think it should be reluctant to be blatant about it. And I remember having several discussions with Pat Mahoney over some lengthy period of time. His biggest problem is to find people who are willing to assume these.
To serve, yes.
So I think we have to be a little flexible.
Peter, I agree with you. On one hand, we have the volunteers and so forth, but at the same time, we have other people who are paid, like the counselors and the like. And we have to weigh that the people would just say that, well, I'm not going to do it, versus is there any reason for them to do it? So I hear you, but at the same time, if there is nothing, then
But I have a related question. All elected council members receive about $3,000. It is currently for the year. I don't know whether to classify that as earned income. If I were on the council, I think the time commitment there for everybody vastly exceeds honorarium of $3,000 for a year. So we cannot consider it earned income. It's a honorarium which comes from honor statement. Maybe it's that. It's not a gift, certainly.
at the same time, if the council member received $10,000, $20,000 from a local business, they need to include that. And if we say that, well, it's okay if you didn't file, well,
Yes. I don't know where the threshold is exactly. $3,000, I would say, spread over a year, over monthly meetings and regular meetings and work sessions and all the homework. That is not. That's a token. But
what I mean is that if somebody on the council received, say, $20,000 from a business entity as a gift, that's really the purpose of this,
Exactly, yeah.
to make sure that that gift
that has
is
to be
reflected
disclosed,
here,
absolutely.
right? So, okay, so that's the purpose of the disclosure. So if we say that, well, if you didn't file it, you didn't file it, then that's going to go unnoticed because they didn't have to file. So that's the other side of it. I fully appreciate the fact that many of the positions are either voluntary or very small stipend, which and people are doing that really not for the money. But the purpose of it is to make sure that there is nothing going on. And as such, I think there has to be some way to make sure that everybody files this. So now going back to where we got on this discussion, Mr. Pounds, the counselor to the town council, well, that's a pretty critical position. And if he had received, I'm not saying that hypothetically, if he or somebody in his position receive a significant money from somebody else, a large gift, that needs to be
Disclosed.
Here's one thing, lesson learned. I think next year, when we do it overall in a better, more elegant way, of course, our questionnaire can resolve this problem, and that we say a councilman's compensation for servicing in that capacity, regardless of amount, has to be disclosed. Now, short answer to that from the other side is, well, but the town already knows it. But that does not necessarily make it public knowledge. You know, whether the honorarium was agreed upon by the previous council and maybe even by the council before that. I can't remember exactly. But nobody in town, very few people in town will remember. And so it's better if, in fact, I'm coming around to that because we don't want to have citizens to say among themselves, oh, those guys, they're getting
a
paid.
lot of money. So where do you land on Mr. Pounds then? This conversation.
We are meeting today. We ask one more time.
Yes.
I couldn't hear you.
We ask him again one more time, Mr. Pounds.
I think that's a position that I think we need to ask. At least. I agree with that.
Can we agree then that we'll be tough-minded, and we will, if a question is not fully answered, we'll go back to people and say, here, you have to tell us this and that and that.
We can be black and white.
Yeah.
That anything that is not answered correctly,
right.
we follow up, and then decide which one to pursue further.
I agree. Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay, that's probably a good middle ground
Okay.
now.
for now, and depending on what position it is and what, then we can. Okay, so based on that, for the old council, there are 3 people that we are following. Lee Rotman, Todd Pounds, and Councilwoman Hartman.
We're not waiving those now?
Right. We are saying that we ask one more time.
One more time, yeah.
Depending on the position, then we decide what actions to take if they don't respond. Does that make sense?
Did you say Peggy had moved away?
Yes. Well, they are in the process of selling their house. I think it's under contract, and they are moving away. They already moved away, actually.
How do you expect me to get a hold of her?
Email.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, it's an email. And again,
If I have a personal email,
I'm sorry.
I said if I have a personal email,
Yes.
if that's on there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So for the avoidance of misunderstanding, would you put a little note on paper so it can be reflected in the minutes, or how do we do this?
Sharon
Yeah,
is
Sheriff's
taking
got
notes.
it. Yeah.
She will follow.
Oh,
Okay.
I got him.
Okay. Are we then done with the disclosure statements, except follow-ups?
Well, we haven't gone through all of them.
Oh,
We have-
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't have the staff list, and I will. How do we?
So staff one package, I didn't have any comments. Greg, did you have any? comments?
Nothing.
Nothing. Staff two batch, I did have two comments. Jay Berry's second property, I mean, it's not a big deal, but I couldn't read the address. To me, it was not legible, but I don't know if you want to make a follow up on that. I'm okay with not.
So you only have very few of the staff that had a deficiency.
Well, Jay Berry, again, his thing is very minor. I'm okay to move on. Greg, did you see that?
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
And I'm okay to let it go. The other one that I saw was William Varner and Schedule H. First, it was no on the top, then it was crossed off to yes, but it was not filled out. Did you?
I got that one too, yes,
Yeah.
I got that.
So that's the only one, Sharon, that
And
is.
what didn't he do?
So
on Schedule
on
H?
Schedule H, initially, you say yes, no, yes, no. He
Mhm.
said no. And when the printout comes, it says no. Then the no was crossed out and was changed with handwriting to yes,
Mhm.
but no information was provided for Schedule H.
I have to check that because I thought that he had put his total compensation on there.
Yeah, the one I saw, again, just focus on Schedule H. It was crossed off and said yes, but no information was provided.
I'll check that.
So those, we are done. How about councils? I have a couple of comments on councils.
Okay.
So the first one, actually, both of them are the same. Lisa Levin and David Rutland, they both, they didn't have Schedule G or H.
Right.
Both cases. I guess we covered Rutland in others. But anyway, both of those in the package of councils, counselors.
Well, we're going to do Lee.
I'm sorry.
We're going to do Mr. Rutland.
Yeah.
We're going to,
That is a long-standing problem or long-standing omission by our lawyers who are not solo practitioners, but who belong to a firm. And I think we agreed to cross out the old language in the ordinance, which said if a position is filled by a firm, the schedule has to be answered by that firm. I think we decided several months ago to cross that out, simply because it results in a head-on collision with the lawyers. Somebody who practices by himself is sovereign and can disclose whatever is required. But somebody who is a partner or whatever title, a member of a firm, where the firm is collecting fees for the individual lawyer's activities, including from this town and in most cases other towns. This firm's management will say, no, we don't disclose that. Our competitors don't need to know how much we are making.
So let me submit to you a hypothetical case. What if one of these lawyers is given a large gift by one of the
In the past, we have let this slide. They simply wouldn't tell us, we're not, we cannot even fire our lawyer. We have to get there.
But I think that to me would be a big hole. If we don't require the lawyers, maybe we should drop the compensation that they are getting from other jurisdictions, but anything from this
The
jurisdiction
town, yeah.
has to be listed.
Yeah, from the town or anyone doing business with the town.
You're not interested in what
Yeah.
they get from in Prince George's County, but here they need to, if anything, they do with any entity in town. If they were representing a business, which they shouldn't, but if they did, so somehow we need to, our wording should catch that thing. We can table this discussion with anticipation of coming up with some language that addresses what you stated, that the law firm doesn't want to disclose the revenue they have from all the other jurisdictions, but at the same time,
Just reword it. I think that's all we would need to do.
that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Let me,
So this Schedule G needs to be really
Yeah.
looked at thoroughly.
it's H.
Is it H? You're right.
Miss Levan,
Let me do something.
Miss
The-
Levan made the argument.
The
that-
state has published 2 model ethics law samples. It's labeled A and B. B is very short. A is detailed, and our ordinance is largely patterned
Based on
on
that,
A. But let me see whether I can find this quickly.
Miss Levan made the argument that on Schedule G, that it says appointed officials need to provide information only as to
Type is so
entities located in the
tiny.
town.
Peter,
Uh,
Mr. Levin has made an argument that Sharon was sharing.
On Schedule G, it says appointed officials need to provide information only as to entities located in the town or doing business with the town. Now, she just came on in 2025. So
Yeah,
she
I
didn't,
couldn't hear very well what you're saying. I'm sure it's pure gold. But
So Ms. Levan,
Levan, mhm.
she came on board in 2025.
This doesn't apply to her.
So
Yes.
didn't have to.
Well, I say that's why she answered no to
it's
everything.
time to
Oh,
find
I
it.
see.
But you had brought her up as being one of the ones,
Right,
along
right.
with
So
Lee.
she didn't even have to file
Right,
in
because-
effect, right?
Because this was for 2024.
Right?
Yes, it's for 2024,
So-
but
So Sharon is bringing up a good point. Ms. Levan actually started working with the town in 2025. So technically, she was not required to file a 2024 disclosure.
Correct.
So I think we should just scratch her off
Oh,
as a follow-up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so is that, and then Ms.
then we'll revisit the same question next year.
Right, well, in the case of specific thing, it then goes back to Lee Rotland, and I think we decided that we just,
Let that one go, yeah.
that's why because of the
now
medical.
we're gonna let him go. Y'all gotta make up your mind.
Should we do one attempt like
Yeah,
the
one
other
more
one?
time. Yeah,
We
let's do
make
that
one
one more
attempt
time.
like other one. At least we are consistent, Sharon.
Yes,
Sorry
yes,
about
yes.
that.
Pulling her hair now and saying, what do you want me to do?
Do it. No, don't do it. Do it. No. Okay. So, all right. So we got that. I think we covered everyone
Think so?
based on your records. too,
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah, yeah.
I think we are done.
So we are done with review public disclosure statements of elected and appointed officials. And what we still have to discuss is to discuss the proposed revisions to the ethics ordinance. And
Also, we need to discuss this.
yeah, that's exactly, I think that's the point I would like, we should have a discussion about.
About this.
Yeah.
I think we should discuss
other
this.
things, I will, I had some small nitpicking corrections. For example, whether defined terms should always be with a capital letter and so on. But I will volunteer to go over it once more to flush that out. You know, I don't want to, I mean, you had been done yeoman work
Mhm.
putting this
And
together.
I would be happy to, I think maybe we can do this in sequence.
I had
if you-
some other small things.
If you make the review one more time, what Sharon has put out, if you make the review and then pass it to us for the last review, so we all have seen the final version and just comment on it,
Yeah.
and then we move forward with that. And I think the fact that, the current mayor is one of the people who came to the ethics commission, and we said that we can't do anything. It's a good case for the ethics ordinance needs to be revised,
Oh,
right? Because
I
he was
agree.
one of the people who came to us before he got elected, if you recall.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's
So
discuss this.
we had discussed earlier, just to refresh everybody's recollection. Most of what's in the ethics ordinance is ordained from the state. There is only one big subject where the state gave the municipalities basically a free hand. And that is to decide which officials should and which do not need to be subject to the disclosure statement. So we have neither of the two models goes into any details. They have no, so we are free here to make our own determinations. I put on the first page of my piece of paper that I gave you, who currently under the existing ordinance is subject to this. And it is vastly out of date and probably never really fit the actual operations of the town. For example, one of the categories of people who must file disclosures are the heads of all the town's departments. Now, the town doesn't have departments. I recall that sometime in the dim past, the only department that was labeled as a department was Jay Berry's shop, the Public Works, and one of the main pillars of our local government. And so that needed to be revised. There are the old town council also invented additional boards or commissions, at least two of which, the tree board and the board of port wardens, have a degree of coercive power over citizens. if you have a tree on your property and it is a nice thick tree, you can't just chop it down. And I do not know what the previous council was thinking when they created the Board of Port Wardens. As far as I know, all our waterfront is privately owned. And we also have part of the mighty federal government that has a facility there. But the government is law abiding. Apparently, they want to install a boat lift at the Navy Pier down there. And dutifully, they applied for a permit from the Board of Port Wardens. It's a mystery to me why for that task we need a special designated body of the structure of the town's government, why that is not something that the council could do, or the Planning and Zoning Commission, or whatever. But anyway, there it is. I suspect that the creation of that body somehow has something to do with a great battle that the town is waging, or has waged. I don't know whether it's been resolved with the Rod and Reel organization about the development of various properties around the port area that are owned by, let's say, the Rod and Reel interest that involves, I think, more than one family. That apparently what the property owners want to do is develop these 5 parcels, but not in the traditional way like most properties here in town. If you basically have a single-family home, but on the same footprint, you can probably create 12 or 14 condo units. And I was told that is all what this is about. But I didn't attend the numerous hearings that they had on this before the Board of Heels, but
I think, Peter,
digressing.
yeah, the question in front of us is that why do we require disclosure? What entities do we require a disclosure, and why? It seems to me that there are a few areas that if an individual or a board or commission is involved with contracting in any form, in approving, in recommending, in any form with contracting for the town, it has the approval authority, or it has the authority to impose fines. If it has any of these 3, they should file.
Oh, yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I agree,
Or are
yes,
there
yes.
other things? Okay, so if that's the case, from what I understand, the town administrator is basically saying is that they are not in the position, they're basically passing the buck to us. And they're saying that we cannot determine who's responsible. So what is it that we should ask the town to provide to us to make sure that we select the right entities and right individuals to file? What I would recommend is that we ask the town that any commission or board, they provide the charter to us, or we can do it 2 ways. We can say that any entity or any employee that falls in any of these categories, contracting, approval authority, or imposing fines. If they're in any of those, they should be filing. So they can determine, based on that criteria, they can determine what if.
Okay. You're saying contracting, approval rights, or the right to impose fines?
Those three elements.
Those three.
Right, because those are the powers that can get influenced with unethical behavior.
I think we should also list the body that has the taxing power, or the power to extract taxes or the equivalent from residents.
Imposing taxes.
For
Additional
example,
taxes.
as distinct from collecting entry fees for the water park, something.
So maybe we can combine that, imposing fines or taxes,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that seems to be logical and in fact necessary.
It's the essence of the
Yeah,
disclosure.
this is
I mean,
the
that's
very
what-
essence of government, that you can,
And as such, a walking committee, it doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't need to.
providing this. Or if they don't have any of these attributes, they don't need to file. So perhaps that can be the response from the commission, either to the town administrator.
well, let me see something. Clearly, this would include all our elected officials,
Yes, absolutely,
obviously.
absolutely.
Then planning and zoning,
They have the approval
They-
authority,
right, approvals,
right?
Board of Appeals,
Yes.
yes. The Board of Elections,
I'm not sure about them, yeah.
Sure. Do they have any of those
well,
attributes?
we can look it up.
Their charter.
Yeah,
Their charter.
and in
I'm
fact,
not sure.
I could talk with Larry Getman, who's been the chairman of the our election commission for many years, and he can discuss it. Ethics Commission.
I mean, the only
I mean,
thing
there are
that's false-
circumstances where we are entitled to impose fines.
Right, and we have the authority to at least recommend changes to the ordinance, which may
So yes.
favor
So
a
yes, yeah.
particular party.
Yes.
Well, we have, it's perhaps too dignified a word, but we have in some way quasi-judicial competences.
Exactly. So I'm okay with including them.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, since they are subjecting everybody else to
Yeah.
this, my grandfather should be doing this.
Let's not exempt ourselves, yeah.
So the tree board has approval authorities. I looked it up in there.
Okay.
Yeah. The Board of Port Wardens has approval authority.
Okay.
Sorry. Um, Mim, I have to call you back. I'm in the middle of a meeting. Oh, bye. Sorry, I normally cannot find my cell phone. It's somewhere like on the nightstand or in the bathroom, and that relieves me of situations like this.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
okay.
And And is it fair to say that all the counselors are assigned to the bodies that have one of these situations, either contract approval, permitting?
Well, what do we do with, for example, the Public Works Administrator, that's Jay Berry?
Oh, sure, they have approved, I mean, they have recommended as a minimum
Because, I mean, he
recommendation.
would contract, he would
Oh, absolutely.
hire, yeah. The same probably goes for the treatment plant superintendent.
Because of the contracting issues, yes.
You know, now if the mayor, the administrator says, no, he is not free to hire, he can propose.
But they're in the chain of recommending. Even recommending a contract, I
Yeah.
think in that position has to be violent.
Town attorney,
Yes. Because they are influencing the elected officials.
administrator, code enforcement official. Yeah, I don't know what the job description is exactly, but code enforcement certainly smells like having
Enforcement.
coercive
Right.
powers.
Town clerk.
Side question. Would we propose that all members of these commissions or boards have to disclose, or only the chair? All
Because they influence, if they are
That's the word too.
imposing,
Influence.
or they're approving something, somebody on that board
As
is
a-
making the argument.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be influenced by any other motive than.
Okay. Okay. What we can take to the council or to the administrator and mayor for a first look-see. We have the categories: contracting, approval rights, imposing money, extracting money. Then I think I would like to turn. I would not like to identify those individuals myself, but that is something that administrator may scream and yell, but she has to take that form that function, do it.
And she's closer
Yeah,
than us.
Yeah,
to know.
and so and some of the things that she was told by the town council does neither here nor there. Yeah. Okay. So I know how to fill in the big white space in the ordinance where everything was crossed out.
So are we at this stage? I do have to leave at 2:30.
Yeah, I understand.
also.
I would very much like to leave myself. And can we schedule the next meeting in the
yes.
not too distant future?
Yes.
Peter, can we approve last month's minutes? Approve.
Oh, I didn't call for that.
No.
Sorry. Can we approve the minutes of the previous meeting? Was it January 13th, I think?
February 24th.
Okay.
February
Yeah,
24th.
as usual, I mean, the minutes can show that it had been delivered. It was unanimously approved.
Okay, so just to reiterate, so on item B, the revisions to the ordinance, you will take the first
Yeah.
look,
Uh,
and then Greg and I will do the final look, and
Yeah, and I will also, I mean, it'll all show, my pettifogging is, capitalized defined terms and some other things. I think I mentioned at the outset as a conversational matter that, the ordinance now reads, if somebody sins, then that we decide whether he should be punished. I'd like to tone that down a little bit. Make statements like that. You'll see it, and I have no particular pride of authorship. So I'll send it to you, and then we'll decide.
before we decide on the date for the next meeting, what will be the focus of the next meeting?
The
revised-
ordinance, and of course the winding up of the
fall law.
disclosure statement.
Okay. So probably, as you say, not too far out.
Not too far off.
No.
So let me start the bid by saying the week of June 16th.
June 16.
Yes, that week sometime. Can do Monday or Tuesday. How
Monday.
does that look?
Monday, yes.
Monday.
Monday, June 16th.
As a matter of personal privilege, there are still two little things I wanted to mention. My term on this commission expired on 31st of March. However, the ordinance says even if the term expires, it doesn't really apply until a successor has been selected and taken office. And I let the mayor know that I would be available for a reappointment. And in fact, that has happened at the last council meeting. Good. So here I am. However, the reappointment does not carry over into the chairmanship. And I want to let you both gentlemen know I'm not clinging to that office. In fact, I'm somewhat handicapped because my hearing, even with my machines in there, is deplorable. And so I'm often in a position that, say that again, and one often, you hear, if you all get older, you will have a good chance of experiencing that yourself.
There.
You understand 85% of somebody said. And sometimes you can extrapolate and so on. But also there are inevitably situations where those missing 15%, that's the whole point of the speech. And those situations are, some personally embarrassing, and for the enterprise that is being discussed, it doesn't serve a good purpose. It's a drag. So I just want to let you know that I'm willing to do what I did in the past, but if either or both of you should decide he's losing it, somebody has to take the chair so we can efficiently go about our business. I would go with a majority.
What are our terms, Sharon? Do you know? Greg and mine?
I have to look.
You have to look.
Yeah. Oh, the council has nothing to say about the chairmanship here.
No, I understand, but I was just curious, when our term, Greg and mine, are going to, because they are March timeframe, right?
Yeah, we have staggered terms.
Staggered term,
Yeah,
yeah.
every March 31st, one term will
Mine may
end.
be up next March.
But I don't know off the top of my
Maybe.
head who's next.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind sending an email, I don't know, Greg, do you have interest? You have definitely more seniority
I have too much already on my plate, so
on
thank
your
you.
plate,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I think it's your turn.
You, Peter, you.
Good, good, that's settled then.
Okay, all right. June 16th. Yeah, that's good.
So are we adjourned?
Aaron?
Adjourned?
We stand adjourned.